handle the truth.
Hello and welcome to Todd's Truth. Today I thought I would talk about one of my favorite subjects, or it used to be one of my favorite subjects, Star Trek. I thought I would go over some of what bothered me the most about the shows, the new shows, and talk about what I loved about the old shows and things like Star Trek, the original show. Great series, great actors, set the foundation for all that was to come, which we have. And you see that this is from IMDb, and they gave it a rating of 8.3. I would have to say it's pretty right. That's a good rating, I think. And then moving on was my favorite show personally, The Next Generation. And this one was given, again, IMDb rated it at an 8.6. I was such a huge fan of The Next Generation that I met all the cast at one time or another and was able to get autographs from them and meet them in person. As you can see, Jonathan Frakes, LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Brent Spiner, and Robert Picardo from Voyager. I have all of the cast, but I couldn't find all the pictures. But I've met Patrick Stewart and everybody. But then that was before they, turned out to be crazy. But I loved Star Trek. Star Trek was the show for me. It was my favorite show. Starting with Next Generation, the original. And then Next Generation really kicked it off into the next level of shows for me, which then came out with Deep Space Nine, which was a great show. They graded it 7.9. I would have given it an 8. It started out a little slow, like most shows do, like Next Generation did as well, until it found its footing. And then both shows, especially Deep Space Nine, really took off with the Dominion War, and a lot of great space combat that took place. And it just laid another great series down. And another great captain, being Avery Brooks, starring as Captain Benjamin Sisko. First black captain, amazing actor. And I loved him. I loved Avery Brooks on other shows, so I naturally loved him on this show because he's just amazing. And then that segued for Voyager. First woman captain. And again, Kate Mulgrew, great captain, great actress. Again, 7.8. I would have ranked that a little bit higher, probably 7.9, maybe 8, because again, like most shows, it started off really slow, but built up and became another great Star Trek show. And as you can see, we have, first black captain, first woman captain. So they were setting groundbreaking stuff all the time on Star Trek. I mean, most social issues that were dealt with in the real world were dealt with on Star Trek as well. And without all of the current day pandering or race baiting or any of that stuff that's taking place in this modern Star Trek era, which completely sucks. Then came one of my least favorite shows. I would have probably rated it lower than 7.5, but this was Star Trek Enterprise. When I first heard about Enterprise, I was really excited about it because the time period it took place in would have set it around, so that it would have dealt mostly with the Federation and the Romulans because of the time period. So I watched the first episode all ready and gung-ho to this is going to be awesome. Romulans, my favorite group in Star Trek, by the way. And within 5 minutes, I believe, of the show starting, they show a Klingon. So from that moment on, I went, this is crap. They completely screwed up Gene Roddenberry's timeline because the Klingons should not have been encountered by the Federation for like another, I think it was like 100 or 200 years in the future. And the Romulans were supposed to be the focal point of this show for the time period. So, and I'm not a big fan of Scott Crapula because I can't stand his acting. I think he's horrible. So that didn't hurt me not liking the show even more. I mean, it added to it. And I really, by the second episode, I was done because they completely had just thrown out everything Gene Roddenberry had set up for a timeline, and I stopped watching the show. And then came another piece of garbage. 7.3 on IMDb. I would rate that a lot lower because it's a horrible show. Discovery. Because this show, I don't think this show takes place in the Star Trek timeline. I think it takes place in the alternate timeline. Because once again, it takes place early on, and there were Klingons with the head ridges, which they did not have in the original show before this timeline. So I tried to watch an episode of this and thought it was horrible crap, and I just didn't watch it. It was bad. And then, so that's like, and then moving on, again, another show, which was supposed to have been good, and it turned out to be complete and utter crap. Again, 7.6 rating on IMDb. I would have rated it this down somewhere around 5. This show was horrible. The first episode, all it was trying to get you to watch it for nostalgia reasons. But the entire rest of that series was nothing but crap. That was not Star Trek. This was a social justice warrior pandering crap. All about, oh no, the woman is so great. Look at this woman do this. And we have to break down and make Picard nothing but a pile of garbage, which they did successfully. And Patrick Stewart went right along with it. So screw that show. Then we move along to this pile of crap, which I think Lower Decks was horrible. It's a crap cartoon, not funny. And I think IMDb got it right at 5.8. I think I would have even maybe 2 out of 10. But it's a crap show. It's not funny. No jokes aren't funny. The whole concept of the show isn't funny. I mean, and this animation style I think is crap. But it's the big thing. It's like, it's Rick and Morty, which I didn't think was funny or anything at all either. Trying to be Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. None of these last shows were Star Trek. They had the name, but from Enterprise on, they completely threw out everything Gene Roddenberry set up, everything Gene Roddenberry established, his timeline, everything of the Federation, every little thing, one by one by one. They destroyed it all and threw it in the trash. And so these crap shows, that just because they have the Star Trek name, these are not Star Trek. These are horrible pieces of crap. I can't say that word enough. Crap. Jeez. Then we go on to looking at this. Star Trek Day. Here. Okay. So this is supposed to be something, I'm guessing. Whew, good Lord. But which is really kind of funny because celebrate Star Trek Day. Ooh. Oh, talk about a fake piece of crap. Yeah, there it is again. I use that word crap again. Man, I'm using that word a lot in this thing. So we scroll down here to see that it's going to be panels, Star Trek Day panels. Discovery, horrible show. Won't watch it. Let's jump over here to the original series. So as you can see, the only people appearing are Will Wheaton, who I can't stand that little tool, George Takei, and Rod Roddenberry. Okay, yeah, what? But George Takei, I'm sorry. Gee, who else is still alive from the original show? Oh, I don't know. The captain, maybe? William Shatner. Look, he's not been invited to this panel. I wonder why. Because he's not a liberal little bootlicker like this guy is. George Takei, my ass. So they only get one person to come from the show, and that's it. And they leave out the captain. That speaks volumes. Then we can go to, well, let's see. We'll go to Deep Space Nine. And, well, look at here. Look at the guests again. Oh, Nana Visitor, Armin Shimmeroff, Terry Ferrero. Well, I'll be damned. Where's Captain Sisko? Oh. Could it also be because Avery Brooks is not a liberal little tool? Oh, look. He's not been invited either. Oh, wow. I'm just so confused by this. But then, so only the people who are the biggest liberals, apparently, in Hollywood that did Star Trek work are the ones who are allowed to show up for the panels. Huh. How crazy is that? You leave off 2 of the best captains in the entire series of shows, but you have crap like Strange New Worlds here, which, from what I've heard, the last rumors are being that they haven't even got this show sold yet to anything or paid for, but yet they're promoting it like it's a real show. Yet it's not even a real show. It's not, as far as I know, it's not even been filmed because they don't have any money to film it. Nobody wants to buy it. Everybody's refused it. Hulu, Amazon, everybody's already turned it down, that they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And who would? Because, I mean, come on. Look at their great lineup of crap they put out so far under Kurtzman. Good Lord. And then but if you look at the lineup again, that's it. That's all you've got. Here's Discovery. No one cares. The show's crap. Here's Voyager. And Voyager actually has most of the crew back. Yeah, it looks like they got most of them back for this panel. But then again, you probably know why they're back. And Enterprise, which, again, I couldn't stand this show. And not a fan of Scott Crapula. And then this horrible mess. See, one of my cats thinks it's a horrible mess, too. And then you got Picard, which, again, was a horrible mess. But as you can see, they're going to do the Next Generation thing here with Picard too, but it's only going to be Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes with that little tool Will Wheaton hosting it all. Yeah, so this really, it's really shows off how much Kurtzman and some of these other people at CBS have just completely, they don't care anymore. They're not going to bring back the 2 of the main captains because of the liberal politics of that they believe in and push. But, as all the stuff that's going bad with this with the stuff going on is 1, 2, 3, technically 4 shows that were horrible, that have really nothing to do with Star Trek. There still is something out there that is still Star Trek, and it still makes me happy to see it, because it's the most Star Trek thing you're going to find today on anywhere, on any television platform, movie, anything. And it's called Star Trek Online. It's a Star Trek game based after Voyager, during the period after where Romulus exploded and wiped out the Romulan system. But there's still lots of Romulans around, and you still have, and it's playable. It's the closest thing to awesome that I've played for a game, and I still play it today. And it's one of the best things I've seen for Star Trek, because it has all the ships from Star Trek, and even ships you haven't seen that are Star Trek related ships for the future. It has all of the races, and it comes out in. Each update is called a season, and each episode of it is an episode, like a television episode. So this is like episode 1, episode 2 of season 2, 3, or 4. And it's been the best thing that's kept my Star Trek love alive. Join me in my next video where I will do a walkthrough and talk about Star Trek Online, the only good Star Trek thing left. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. What the hell, go crazy. Leave a comment. And follow me on social media. The links will be in the description box below. I will see you in the next video.